a life less ordinary. And introducing Alan Carter. Alan Carter is a man of many hats. He is an entrepreneur, a mentor, and a leader with over 35 years' experience, and he is past founder and CEO of a successful international business. But his story is not just about business. It is about the power of the human spirit. It is about overcoming adversity and achieving dreams. Alan's journey is an inspiration to us all, and in the next video, he shares this journey with us. Alan's key takeaway is a testament to the power of resilience, determination, and a strong belief in oneself. He started from humble beginnings and built a global enterprise with 800 employees across 30 countries, all through sheer grit and unwavering focus. His story is a beacon of hope for aspiring entrepreneurs and anyone striving for a more fulfilling life. Alan's life is a testament to the fact that with vision, hard work, and determination, anything is possible in life. He's a role model for us all, and his story is an inspiration to anyone who has ever dared to dream big. Empowering the individual, the cornerstone of success. Alan Carter firmly believes in the power of the individual. He understands that true success lies in unlocking the potential within each person. His leadership philosophy centers around empowering individuals to take ownership of their own strengths and weaknesses, to innovate and contribute their unique talents. He fosters an environment where every voice is heard, and encourages his team to challenge the status quo and push boundaries. This approach not only leads to a more engaged and motivated workforce, but also fosters a culture of creativity and innovation. Alan's commitment to empowering individuals extends beyond his own company. He is a sought-after mentor and speaker, sharing his insights and experiences to inspire others to reach their full potential, and believes that by empowering individuals, we can create a ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond the workplace and into the wider community. Guiding management leadership beyond titles. Alan Carter, in spite of his extensive awards and certifications, believes that leadership is not about titles or positions. It is about action and influence. He sees his role as a guide, not a dictator, and empowers his management team to lead by example, to inspire their teams, and to ultimately create a positive and productive work environment. He encourages his managers to be mentors and coaches, to support their team members' growth and development, and emphasizes the importance of clear lines of communication, mutual respect, and a shared vision. Alan leads with empathy and understanding. He recognizes that everyone has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. He also encourages his managers to embrace diversity and to create a workplace where everyone feels valued and respected. His leadership style is based on trust, respect, and a genuine desire to help others succeed. Alan believes that by creating a positive and supportive work environment, he can empower his team to achieve great things. Building high-performing teams and the power of collaboration. Alan understands that a company is only as strong as its team. He knows that the foundation of any successful organization lies in the collective strength and synergy of its members. He places immense value on building high-performing teams that work together towards a common goal. Alan believes that when individuals unite their efforts, they can overcome any obstacle and achieve remarkable outcomes. Alan promotes a collaborative environment where individuals feel empowered to share ideas, challenge assumptions, and support each other. In such an environment, creativity flourishes and innovative solutions emerge. He believes that diversity of thought as well as background and experience is essential for innovation and growth. By bringing together people with varied perspectives, Alan ensures that his team can tackle problems from multiple angles. He encourages his team to embrace their differences and to leverage their unique perspectives to find creative solutions to complex challenges. This approach not only enhances problem-solving but also fosters a sense of belonging and mutual respect. Alan emphasizes the importance of open and honest communication. He knows that transparency and trust are the cornerstones of a strong team dynamic. He also creates a safe space for his team to share their ideas, voice their concerns, and provide constructive feedback. This open dialogue ensures that everyone feels heard and valued, leading to better decision-making and stronger team cohesion. Alan believes that by fostering a culture of trust and respect, he can unlock the full potential of his team. Trust is the glue that holds a team together, enabling them to work seamlessly and efficiently. He invests in team-building activities and training programs that foster collaboration, communication, and problem-solving skills. These initiatives not only enhance individual capabilities, but also balance the team and strengthen its overall performance. Alan also shares that a cohesive team is more than just a group of individuals. It is a powerful force that can achieve extraordinary results. When team members trust and support each other, they can accomplish feats that would be impossible alone. Alan's commitment to building high-performing teams is a testament to his belief in the power of collaboration. From humble beginnings to international success is a testament to hard work. Alan Carter's story is one of resilience, ambition, and the unwavering belief that hard work brings its own results. From the very start, Alan knew that his path would not be an easy one. He faced numerous obstacles and setbacks, but he never let them deter him from his ultimate goal. He didn't start with a silver spoon. In fact, his early days were marked by financial struggles and limited resources. But Alan was determined to make the most of what he had. The journey began with limited budgets and major competition, but his vision stretched far beyond his circumstances. He spent countless nights in his modest business office, meticulously planning and strategizing his next moves, always keeping his eyes on the horizon. Through this sheer determination and an unyielding work ethic, Alan transformed his vision into reality. Alan's days were filled with developing strategy, policy, mission objectives, and procedures, often burning the midnight oil to ensure that every detail for business development and expansion was perfect. He took carefully calculated risks, embraced challenges, and never lost sight of his goals. Each challenge was seen as an opportunity to learn and grow, and every risk was a calculated step towards his dream. He built his business brick by brick, always learning, adapting, and growing. Alan understood that success was not a destination, but a continuous journey of improvement and innovation. His story attests to the fact that success is not a matter of luck or privilege, but the result of careful planning, dedication, perseverance, and a relentless pursuit of one's dreams. Alan's journey shows that with the right mindset and effort, anyone can achieve greatness. He proves that with passion, hard work, and an unwavering belief in oneself, anything is possible. Alan's milestones were not just personal victories, but also a source of inspiration for many. His journey is an inspiration to aspiring entrepreneurs and a reminder that even amidst adversity, the human spirit fueled by hard work and determination can achieve extraordinary things. Alan's story encourages us all to dream big, work hard, and never give up, no matter how tough the journey may seem. Diverse experiences, shared values, leveraging a journey through industries. Alan Carter's career path is anything but linear. His journey is a story of identifying and interpretation of strategies, then translating them into adaptable business solutions, as well as understanding the ethos of seeking the pursuit of excellence in diverse fields. He has traversed a multitude of industries, from the disciplined world of military, police and defense, where he honed his skills in leadership and strategic thinking, to the fast-paced environments of FMCG, compliance, construction, and electrical industries. Each sector presented its own set of challenges and learning opportunities. Each experience, though vastly different, has contributed to his unique and multifaceted perspective, and his versatile approach to business. This diversity in his career has equipped him with a broad understanding of various market dynamics. While the industries may vary, his core values remain constant. These values are the bedrock of his professional journey. He carries the principles of integrity, discipline, and a strong work ethic across every sector he touches. These principles are not just words, but are deeply ingrained in his professional DNA. He also carries a strong sense of awareness of his strengths and abilities across every task he touches. His commitment to these values has earned him respect and recognition in every field he has ventured into. His diverse background has provided him with a unique understanding of different business models, management styles, and industry-specific challenges. He has learned to navigate complex environments and lead teams to success. This breadth of experience has made him a versatile leader, capable of adapting to different environments. His ability to pivot and thrive in various settings is a testament to his resilience and strategic mindset. Capable of adapting to different environments and effectively leading teams in multiple departments and industries. His leadership style is both inclusive and dynamic, fostering a culture of collaboration and innovation. He effectively leads teams through complex industry compliance frameworks. He understands that each industry has its own unique set of challenges and opportunities, and he leverages his extensive experience to guide organization executives and ambitious employees to success. He draws upon his vast knowledge base to identify opportunities, navigate challenges, and drive success in any field he chooses to pursue. His strategic vision and ability to execute have been key to his success. His journey is a powerful reminder that success is not confined to a single industry, but is about the skills and values one brings to the table. This journey through multiple industries is also a testament to Alan's adaptability, his willingness to learn, and his ability to apply his skills and values in different contexts. He continuously seeks out new challenges and opportunities for growth. Alan's career is a living example of how versatility, development of understanding, and a strong value system can ultimately lead to sustained success. It reinforces his belief that success is not industry-specific. It's about embracing challenges, continuously learning, and applying your core values to every endeavor. His story is an inspiration to professionals across all fields. Alan Carter's journey is a powerful testament to the impact of core values and adaptability in achieving professional success. So we hope you enjoy this next video from the postgraduate guest speaker series of the University of Sunderland. The next video is hosted by Dr. Derek Watson, Vice Principal at the university, where Alan presents his life story as a backdrop to building his international business and in a presentation to global business graduate students.
Right, there you go. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Postgraduate Guest Speaker Series. And today we have a special honour to welcome Alan Carter. I first met Alan several months ago when I was submitting a bid and I needed an advisory board. So a company which I worked with strongly recommended Alan. And since that, we've had various discussions and potential plans for the future. But let me just tell you a little bit about Alan. Just let someone in there. Alan is the managing director of QA International, set up by himself within that. However, despite that huge achievement, he is also a professional actor. So some of you may be familiar with some soap shows, Coronation Street, Emmerdale, Waterloo Place, and in addition to his acting, oh, by the way, with your acting, can I share with them that screencast that you're going for in Hollywood?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, Alan kind of slipped it in our conversation yesterday. He said, oh, yes, I've been on Coronation Street and Emmerdale and various other TV shows. So you can Google him on images and you can see what shows he's been in. But Alan also kind of slipped in quite quietly. He says, oh, I'm also going for a screen test in Hollywood for a Hollywood movie. Now, I won't give you the title of the movie in case it's confidential. But yes, he's due for a screen test for a Hollywood movie. I can tell you it's a horror movie. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. But yes, Alan's also been in the military police. He was actually shot at whilst during an attempted coup. And I believe you also appeared on television, a news channel, talking about that situation where someone shot at you. But you've also got, with regards to business and more relevant to the MBA, very good experience in construction, electronic, pharmaceutical, nuclear, and the defense industry. So a rich bed of experience. So keep your questions till the end, and I'll hand over to Alan. Alan, over to you.
Well, thank you, Derek. Thank you very much. And I am honoured to be asked to speak to everybody today. And I would just like to say thank you to all the people making an effort to attend when the sun is shining and they could be sat in it. So I'm Alan Carter. Hello, everybody. I am indeed Managing Director of QA International Certification Limited, and I'm one of the co-founders, myself and Alf Duffield, who some may know, some may not, of a younger age, but he was a heavy industrialist as well in the region, and we set the company up for the purposes of providing government-backed certification, which, if anybody's familiar with the basic overlaying processes of health and safety management or environmental management or quality assurance, then they will understand that's the areas that we are involved in, and we indeed provide that service around the world. And the company was established to do that. It was established from the get-go as an international body. So thank you for that introduction, Derek. So I am honoured to be here. I've read the introduction provided by the University of Sunderland, the little flyer they put out, and I thought, gosh, I'd like to meet this guy myself, but realised it was me. So thank you for that. I am humbled to meet you all, and incidentally, I can't see you coming and going, but it goes without saying, if you need a comfort break, please just do what you have to do during the discussion. And I thank you now for joining me on this new journey for me. So I gather you're all over 16, so there can't possibly be anything I could teach you, because I'm sure everybody knows everything at the age of 16 plus, but I will try. Why am I doing what I'm doing here today? Yes, I was asked if I would provide some sort of feedback on my background that may have been useful to others. I hope during the discussion to give you a few examples of what I have done in my life. Obviously, it's very personal to me, and whilst that is the case, I don't class myself as anything other than the average Joe, and I'm sure my experience may be useful to you also. And I'm hoping that from my background, you may at least be inspired to go and start your own journey and climb that mountain of your own. So hopefully I'll pass the Socrates test of 3. It will be true. I hope it'll be good, and I certainly hope it will be useful. So here we go. I say my objectives are to encourage you on your own journey, and to affirm that there's only you can look after you. There's only you can promote yourself and gain your own opportunities from your own efforts. But I can assure you now, if you do work to that end, you will achieve your full potential. So here we go. How did I get where I am today? Typical question. We need to go back in time to answer that. The starting point, I guess, is where everybody's starting point is when it comes to a career is late schooling. And what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, actually, I went the usual route at first. I'd like to be a pilot, and then my eyesight let me down, so that was out of the question. But then, even at that age, I thought, hang on a minute, what do I want to be? Why should I restrict myself, particularly at this young age? I want to do everything. I want to try everything. I'm not sticking a label on myself and put myself in a box. No. So that's the attitude, I'm afraid. Like it or lump it, but I want to do everything, and I want to experience life to the full, and so should you. And I'm not saying for a minute do not choose a profession. In fact, I highly recommend you do. But what I'm saying is fulfill the life you've got, and the profession can actually embellish your life and give you some sort of security or foundation. But you should constantly push against your own envelope. And life is certainly too short for unfulfilled wishes, is what I would say. Paul Brandt, who's a singer you may or may not know, is he sums it quite well in his lyrics. He says, "Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there's footsteps on the moon," and I believe that. And the situation is that in this technological age, we're already preparing people to go and live on Mars, believe it or not. And in the next few years, we'll actually be pushing even further and exploring the moons of Jupiter. So there's a lot going on. and all these opportunities, they're there to be had, and it applies to you. You just got to reach out for them. So where did I come from? Well, you know, you can see I'm flesh and blood, just like everybody else. I had a relatively poor upbringing. I was a raggy backside kid, living in a terraced house in the centre of Middlesbrough. Some of my meals were what were known then as bread and dripping. Hopefully none of you will know what I'm talking about, but actually the bread and dripping was bread dipped in lard, because we couldn't afford dripping. So, you know, that's the violin moment out of the way. That is the background I had. Very simple, very, very humble. My pocket money, you know, you probably got pocket money as children yourselves off your parents. I had to earn my pocket money working in a shop from 10 years old onwards, and I would be lugging great bags of coal or sacks of potatoes around for the princely sum of 50 pence a week and any choice of chocolate bar. And you know, all this forms you, all this sort of develops you as an individual, builds your character, as I say. And the only thing I would remark about that is my mother took the 50 pence for safekeeping, and I never have found that safe. So I don't know what happened to that. Anyway, so that's sort of roughly my background as a youngster. And then we start on an enterprise route. Yes, I started my first enterprise at the age of 12. Was it an enterprise? I think I'm using a little bit of artistic license, but I used to look after cars as a kid, and you know, they would park the cars in a car park, and I'd say, "Okay, I'll watch your car, mister," and they would actually give me 10 pence for that privilege, and I would patrol the car park, and I would, you know, look out for any skullduggery and things, and earn my fee. It's only later that I came to realise, later in life actually, not then. Did they pay me out of pity? Did they pay me out of fear? Like it was some sort of protection racket, or rather than an actual enterprise? So I don't know. I'll leave that one unanswered. But I certainly upgraded my fortunes when I got a year older. I was able to go on the road, and I was actually what's called a roadie. And my uncle had a band and played all sorts of venues. And I met the great Alvin Stardust at the Club Fiesta in Stockton, which is fairly local to where I live. So that was a notable claim to fame for me. Really nice guy, bought me a Coke and crisps, me and my brother. And I loved every minute of it. And again, that's an underlying theme. You know, you should enjoy what you do. There's some things you have to do that you don't enjoy, like this, for example, for me. But Derek said, "Will you come and talk?" I said, "No, I don't want to." Somehow I ended up being. So, yeah, home life then, interesting to say the least. And again, on the enterprise theme, I always played about with things. I was a tinker. I mean, I was exploring the straps of the sofa at home, and I cut the elastic out because I thought, I wonder what I can do with this. And anyway, they all went to sit on the seats, fell through. All my parents, oh, they're crazy. But, you know, this is what they were dealing with, you know. And my mum, you know, bless her, we didn't have a washing machine in those days, so the clothes went in what's called a post tub, and you sort of raked them about with you remember, Derek, and you raked them about with you know, like this baseball bat thing, and then you washed them in that tub, and then put them through like a wringer. It was like a mangle thing, and it squeezed them dry. So I thought, wow. Well, in those days we had newspapers that were like thick, heavy print. If you read a paper, you knew you'd read a paper because your hands were black. And I thought, what a good idea. So I soaked the wet print of the paper, put it with a blank sheet of paper, and started feeding it through the wringer as like a printing press. I was well chucked. Trouble is, my mum wasn't, because obviously when she come to wash and wring out her whites, they weren't white afterwards. But you know, this is the thing: you've got to explore. You've got to be adventurous, you know, and hopefully it'll come at an early age. So here we go. You know, on the basic theme, that sometimes great ideas can go wrong, and sometimes not for the right reason. I mean, you'll find on IMDb a showreel. And I'm talking about. I'm introducing myself, and I'm talking about my first bike, and that's an example of things going wrong, but for another reason. When I used to go to school, I used to have to wind my way through loads of alleyways between my home and the school. And I noticed one day there was a pedal in the floor, and there was like a bicycle sort of seat, and then a bike frame and a bike wheel. So good old me, I thought, oh, I can put all these pieces together, make a bike. I didn't have a bike, I never had a bike, and we took Pooh to buy one, if you like. And over many months, I collected all these parts and finished building the bike. Trouble is, I made too good a job of it. When I went on a maiden voyage, I got beat up and had it stolen off me. And, you know, young and cynical, you may say, but that, to me, it's some Middlesbrough up at the time, not now, but I thought, yeah, great, they waited till I built it. You know, they couldn't steal it half finished or something, they waited till I finished it. So even great ideas, as I say, go wrong, and not necessarily for reasons that you would anticipate. But anyway, here we go. I got married in the 80s. I've got 3 kids and 8 grandkids. And even then, I was studying electronics and technical stuff and electrical engineering, but I wanted to still have the creative bent. So I did a 2-year freelance photography and photojournalism course in parallel to programming in Pascal. Anyway, and it went, you know, very well. I even now I still do photography and I sell photographs. Not a big income, but it's supporting my interest. And similarly with acting, you know, I am a busy sort of businessman, as it were, and I couldn't spend 9 months on a production, you know, out of a caravan working in, you know, anywhere in the world. But I can do small parts, which is what I tend to do. And equally, hand in hand with that, are charitable works. And like the flyer for the university said, advertising this event, I do help others. I'm a complementary therapist. I'm registered in that. I'm a church friend, a spiritual counsellor, and a bereavement counsellor as well. And yes, I also do exorcisms, but that's another story that will come up, perhaps we'll come across later. But the point is, everything I've used, everything I've done with my life has been useful. And you should really make sure you find that balance yourself, is all I would say. You've got this opportunity where, you know, you interact with people. There are no end of options for learning. And all the paths that are available to you are really fantastic. And you know, it's up to you to choose that path. All I would say is you do need to pick the right path, because there are dark ones and there are light ones. There are ones that follow an enlightened approach and ones that don't. And clearly I recommend the light. Otherwise, I may well see you for the exorcism. Another point to note, though, again, as I say, I'm not saying be jack of all trades, master of none. All my pastimes are qualified. They've all got some sort of formal registration or insurance. But one thing I do know, I know myself. I found myself and I know myself, which takes me to a residential week in Scarborough. Now, dear Dr. Debbie Yankowitz and 3 other psychology professors from the University of Teesside spent a full week psychoanalyzing us. What it was, I'd done the postgraduate diploma in management, but I'd missed the residential week. So they stuck me with the psychologist postgraduate diploma. Crikey, what a week that was. We had Belbin, we had transactional analysis testing, we had no end of psychometric testing, and then we explored comfort zones and were taken out of them, and really stripped bare. I felt like a lab rat, I really did. But I found so much about myself at that week of attendance that really I feel I've got to feed it back to you. You know, I found out, for example, that I was a plant on one scale, which means I'm an ideas man, which suited me. I found out that I do have strengths. They tend to come out when others don't lead. I will then say, okay, let me take over and I'll lead if we're not going to be doing it properly. And I'm also not a complete finisher, which means I'm not particularly good at detail, which I guess doesn't bode well for a doctorate, Derek. But anyway, moving swiftly on. suddenly I knew myself. It was a eureka moment, and I could then work to my strengths and try and address some weaknesses. And whilst I don't recommend a week with 4 psychoanalysts for yourself, I do say it is worth putting some serious thought into yourself, into what you're good at, what you're not so good at, what you could develop, and what really you'd like to leave alone because you're not interested. Live life to the full. Don't waste your life. So if there's anything that doesn't take your fancy, just let it go. Is anyone there? It's like Paddy's take me out. This is all the lights gone out, Derek. I've still got people. Yeah. You're muted, Derek.
Professor, we don't hear you.
Hey?
Derek.
All okay? I'll push on. Okay, this bit could get boring. It's about my background. But, what have I been doing the last 40 years? Well, I've already mentioned I studied electrical engineering, and I was in the Royal Military Police. And yeah, I did the usual things the police person would do: check vehicles for explosives because the provisional IRA were active at that time, and secured military establishments. I've conducted military and civilian policing patrols and investigated crime. But what that taught me, because remember, I'm trying to say do things and then learn from what you do. It taught me to be methodical. It taught me to carefully gather my evidence and then weigh it up equally as carefully to gain a complete understanding of any circumstances in front of me before I took action. And then when I took action, I came from a base of confidence and a good foundation of knowledge. So, that can apply equally in any part of your life, and you should do that. Again, work to your strengths. And if you think there's areas of weakness, make sure of yourself before you move forward. Nothing wrong with that. As an electrical engineer, yeah, I've been around. I've been petrochemical, nuclear, defence industries. I've redesigned industrial processes, tweaked them to make them better. And that's just a sort of specialist area. But whether you're in a specialist area or not, just working on projects can be interesting, and it could be any projects. It doesn't have to be high range projects like I've worked on. I mean, for example, one of the most interesting projects I did was one of the simplest jobs. I worked at the Joint European Torus, which is it's called a tokamak, which is like a big ring donut of magnetism. And I worked on that in Oxford, and that's dealing with nuclear fusion. And I've walked around the UK atomic weapons establishment, which is, they make the atomic weapons and things, and calculated the risk through measurement of conductivity to that facility being able to withstand a lightning strike. Interesting jobs, nothing jobs really, but it's so interesting. And as I say, it goes back to the straps getting cut out of the chair. I'll push it, I'll pull it, I'll twist it, and I'll have a go at it, just to learn and gain that knowledge. And what did I learn? Well, yeah, the serious things when you're looking at confining plasma in a magnetic field for thermonuclear fusion power. But, that actually, my past is your future, because in 2020, that was the leading source for the next fusion reactor power generation, and that will be in your lifetime, you see. So my lifetime set the thing up, your lifetime we're going to run with it, and the source, well, Wikipedia on this one, but whoa, all the same, But what else did I learn? I'll tell you, I learned about people, and people are the greatest asset, and you really need to know and understand people for sure. And it's just a simple analogy. I remember my boss. He'd been in a meeting, and he was really cheesed off with some of the attendees in the meeting, and things weren't going. You can apply logic in a meeting, but you've basically got to go with the diplomatic majority. And sometimes they're not necessarily right. You'll have seen that time and again in politicians. But the point is, they cheesed him off. And he took a break. He stepped away from the table, quite upset. But when he came back to the table, he was quite happy. And so where was the shift? Well, I'll tell you what the shift was. He looked out the window, and when he first attended the meeting, it was a belting hot day, and they'd all arrived in the cars with the sunroofs open. By the time we got back to the table, it was tanking down. He took some great delight from that, and it might be, as I say, from that example. Remember the light or the dark path. It might not have been the right impetus, really, but one way or the other, he overcame his angst. I wonder what path he would have chosen. That's all I'm wondering. But anyway, and then even in quality control, I went into quality control in the 80s as opposed to quality assurance, and there is a difference, but I don't need to go there for this speech. But and I was no technological slouch. I'd worked on all sorts of industrial applications using the highest of technology. But I remember we were bought the first PC in the department, in the factory, and probably in the country. There weren't many around. It was an Amstrad PC 1640, and crikey, we looked at it like it was some monolith of 2001. We just didn't know what to do with it. It had a full 640k of RAM and a mind-blowing 20 megabytes hard disk. Compare that with where we are now, crikey. And as I say, I'd been used to programming language. I'd learned Motorola M68000 assembly language, and I'd even adapted Sinclair ZX Spectrums to work industrial processes. Now to use that computer, we stood looking at it for weeks before we worked out, we do word processing. Yeah, we do spreadsheets. And yes, it was a significant step up from a typewriter. But now I think back, just about every kid you see these days is born with a computer around them. How things have changed. What did I learn? That's what I'm here to feed back to you. And what I learned is technology is fantastic, and it moves at such a pace that you have to be on the ball with it. You've seen it yourselves with iPhones and PlayStations and the generations of those, just probably in your own lifetime, but you really do need to keep a keen eye on technology. It's something that can overtake you and catch you unawares otherwise. And, I come back to that because I'll tell you why. When I was 14, I remember watching a program called Tomorrow's World, and they were describing a fax machine, which we thought was fantastic. Oh, you put a picture in at one end, you get a picture out somewhere else in the world at the other. Wow, state of the art. But you look at it now, and you can just do that on your simple phone. Yeah, you need to learn these fundamentals. The only other thing I would say, though, is this. Whilst I'm a technical guy and I was overawed with the prospects and the challenges and the benefits of technology, I also learned, again, back to people, that these things can be daunting to some people. And whilst I can be racked with enthusiasm, I equally understand if we're going forward, we have to go forward together. We have to make sure that the people that are with us are brought along with us as well when we go forward, and that any concerns are, satisfied and they're put at ease. If you don't do that, then you won't basically be fulfilling your own responsibilities as a person. And equally, if you work in management, you won't be fulfilling your own responsibilities from a corporate point of view, because, we all have a duty of care to each other. And in a company, it's actually legal requirement that you fulfill your corporate responsibilities. So it's something to think about again on reflection. So Derek mentions I have a master's degree. Yes, I do. It is probably my most senior grade of qualification on paper, as it were. And that was a nice journey. I'll be honest, I enjoyed doing my master's. It was hard. It was difficult. It's especially when it coincided with the early days of setting the company up. And I actually did the masters in a few areas of finance, marketing, and human resources. But there was a theme to it for entrepreneurship and new venture development. But I do have a secret for you. It didn't make me an entrepreneur. That comes from within, I'm afraid. And the situation is just like leadership. You either instinctively have this ability in you, or you at least can learn some of the tools and techniques. But it develops, like I say, from involvement with people. So what did the qualifications do? Well, I'll tell you what they did. Accredited qualifications, such as universities, and University of Sunderland particularly, they give you validation that you're on the right path. Sometimes, or most often, when you develop a business from scratch, from nothing, you use gut feel. Myself and Alf, we used gut feel. That's how we lived. Doing the qualification basically validated that gut feel, put some structure and discipline to help me understand why I did what I did quite naturally. And it gave me basically a confirmation that even with my creative processes, I was on the right track. And I say creative processes because whether you're building a business or managing people, or in my case, both, you have to have flexibility in your thinking and your application. So the best entrepreneurs are naturally creative, and they have to be able to adapt to ever-changing circumstances and be able to sort of twist and turn as they come across them to find solutions. And I would say just look at Elon Musk as a good modern day example. That guy's got some great ideas. He's had some letdowns, but he's learned from these letdowns and he's moved forward with them and come out stronger, afterwards. And I think that's the point. And equally, I would tie that with or underpin that with continuing professional development. Obviously, we can all focus on learning about the key technology or standards in my case, or the latest legal practice if you're a lawyer, or the latest accountancy practice if you're an accountant. But remember this again, we're interacting with people. So my CPD is broader than my job role, and I think yours should be as well. Yeah, I have a job spec and I've got to keep up to date, even me, with things. Even I have people now doing what I used to do in the early days. But I still have to understand people and what motivates them. I still have to create opportunities for them to thrive and reach their fullest potential. And I would say, it's probably a bit dated, but pick up any Charles Handy work, any books by Charles Handy, and you'll see the sort of things you can get involved with people. There's probably modern equivalents, but for me it was Charles Handy. And read up on the matter, it's interesting. And just this last year myself, part of my CPD, I did emerging technical standards, very technical. I had to look at development of new audit methods due to COVID-19. But I balanced this with a level 3 diploma in grief and bereavement counselling. Something that you would not expect me to do in the position I'm in. But I did that so I can better understand a common issue that will apply to everybody, whether at home or work. And it can happen now or in the future. Because, people join us and they leave us on our journey. And that'll probably be the hardest lesson you have to come to terms with, I would suggest. Again, there's another video on IMDb. We did a little show reel. It wasn't for this, to be fair, but it does have a lot of parallels. And I hope that my understanding of grief and bereavement and how people may react to it will make me a more effective manager. Because I'll be able to give them support. I'll be able to give them resources if they need it. And I'll basically be able to understand, what problems they're experiencing that little bit more. And I would say this, it is an important point for you to consider too, when you're applying for your jobs. You finish your A-levels, O-levels, your post-grad, you're looking for a job. And quite often I see your CV and it's got like one line at the bottom. I like reading, writing, and, photography or something. After what I've just said, please take on board the point. It's about people. Your hobby should be more than one line. Your other practices outside of your normal working or academic life should be more than one line. Emphasize what you do to help you understand about people. Because if a company is going to place somebody that maybe even if they're a postgrad, they're going to be fast track into management, they can't have somebody in charge and then they don't understand the people that are reporting to them. They don't understand when they've had a bad day. They don't understand when they're probably carers or they're looking after somebody who's lost somebody close to them. So emphasize people as well as practice is all I would say. And I hope, as I say, you take that on board. So I've done a little bit on qualifications, but essentially my masters also helped not just validate my actions, but I actually used it to good effect. QAICL at that time had come out of an initiative from the PERA scheme that stopped in 1994 when companies were grant-funded consultancy for ISO 9000, which is quality management. And I'd just entered the market, so I thought, well, what can we do? We're entering a market at a time when government-backed funding is being withdrawn. All the major companies took advantage of the funding and put big systems in place, but then they were driving the requirement down the supply chain, but the supply chain didn't have the benefit of the consultancy funding, so they were struggling. The consultants that had become established had looked after big companies, so they had big prices. They were caught in a squeeze, and they were caught in a very poor moment of time. So I used my masters to research that, and I came up with an alternative route to getting the certification that was the essential outcome of corporate policy for the big supply chain. And once I presented that to the bank, they actually agreed to back it with a government funding, government loan. So I actually got loan funding on the back of the masters that more than paid for the course itself, but equally it allowed the pump priming of QAICL to have some economy of scale, which, you know, without being technical, basically means it becomes greater than the sum of its parts as a company, and we use that to expand into the Middle East. So, as I say, nothing's wasted. Everything is used or can have a use, but sometimes you just got to think a bit more broadly about how you plug things in. And you know, as I say, we've got a bit of a recap here. We've got you know, the fact that I've used everything to get to the point where we're at today with the company and with my personal progression. I've got a detailed professional knowledge underpinned by qualifications, but I also have activities that underpin me as a person with extraneous qualifications. And I can now stand amongst the rest of them and say, yeah, I've covered what the company does from one end to the other. You know, my masters, it helped me put business plans together, financial forecasts, financial reports, the postgrad diploma, and the masters helped me put commercial contracts together, prepare budgets and forecasts, contracts of employment. My technical stuff obviously helped with the IT systems and things associated with the internals of the company. And I was also company secretary until 2006. So, you know, it was removed as a requirement by Companies House, but that was a legal responsibility with statutory reporting duties, which again, all backed by my qualifications. So I just naturally was able to do things without struggling, and more importantly, without having to rely on others, which sometimes you can't do. You know, if there's anybody going to let you down, it's probably not going to be yourself. It's somebody you come to rely on. So it's best that you understand the fundamentals of as much as you can. Is my advice. Again, my photography skills. I did business brochures, newsletters, the company website in 1996, the very first website for us. I did all that. I was able to use pictures that I developed. I was, you know, and I did used to develop them in those days. They were digital film. And again, my electronics background allowed me to get people up and running with computers and IT. And even though I don't physically hands-on go and do audits these days, whereas I used to do them all when the company was starting, I am now a chief technical resource for our auditors. So, as I say, I can't emphasize enough, nothing is wasted, and you know, just go for it. Yeah, I think I've said enough there. We've got, you know, I can negotiate contracts from my work history. I've got a situation where when we started the company, we didn't have the internet then. There was only it was called the World Wide Web, and there were only about 10,000 websites. So, you know, having all that ability behind me allowed me to make up for what was missing then. It's not missing now. The opportunities, whilst they are there, will be different for you. It's all about timing, but please, there are opportunities. take a moment, reflect on yourself, reflect how you best can capitalize on those opportunities, and go for it. And there's nothing to lose. Okay, so there's the other side of me. Have I known some low points? Yes. Long hours, 16-hour days. I've felt lonely in the business. Again, 16 hours on my own when I was attended by other people. So, and the thing is with quality assurance, it's often mistaken for insurance. So even if you try and talk to somebody about it, they don't get it. They really don't, because they say, oh, it's insurance. No, it's not. So you can't even talk to anybody because I lacked personal funds. And yeah, in the early days, you're dealing with stress. You've got debt collectors and bailiffs saying, where's the money that we lent you? You say, well, hang on. What you're trying to do is, and it's worth mentioning this, there are several types of business. And I used to work in construction, as Derek said, and projects. And the thing with that is, okay, you do a nice meaty project, but at the end, you're looking for another project as a company to keep going. With QA International and certification, it's rather like an accountancy business where when you have a company as a customer, you tend to go back every year to service it. So the revenues aren't as high as a project environment, but you need a mass of them to be equivalent. And the thing is, they're what's called a repeat market. So all I would say is research and know your business. Research and know where, and this applies whether you're working for them or creating your own. It really does. It's your due diligence, really. And if you do that, then you're underpinning your own future either way. And there was another low point that I suppose I should mention, and that's myself and my companion went to Turkey. It was the story of 2016, I guess. We'd just arrived in Turkey. We'd gone for a friend's wedding. And we'd only just transferred from the airport to the hotel when we heard, my companion heard popping noises. She opens the balcony. Oh, I'll go and say, popping noises, fireworks. I said, that's not fireworks, it's gunfire. I pulled her off that balcony. Seriously, I looked out, there were helicopters dropping troops, abseiling down ropes onto the beaches and around the hotel. And she saw people running away as they were being shot at. It was serious. And I was just trying to find out where we were, flicking through the telly, and then bang, I knew it was a heavy shell that hit the window. I looked up, a helicopter had broadsided, and there was a guy with a machine gun pumping bullets into our room. And I flung her on the floor, and I flung myself on top, pulled the mattress over us as he peppered the room with bullets. And yeah, that was a low point, I think. So I had insult to injury. The fighters stormed the hotel, came in shooting. And in the meantime, my companion's on the floor, so talking to her daughter and her son, and she thought that was the end. She was saying her goodbyes. And her daughter was so worried that she rang the Home Office for advice. Do you want to know what the advice was? Stay hidden and keep quiet. No kidding. Yeah, really? So, okay, guess what we were already doing? Anyway, so we sat there, we lay there, there's shooting at one side, shooting at the other. Keep as quiet as possible. And then she says, I feel sick. Oh, it's adrenaline. Yeah? And crikey, what we're going to do? So I sneaked to the door. I said, I opened the peephole, and the guard was stood next to my door. There's the peephole. Look through the peephole. He's talking to his mate across the corridor with a big machine gun. I put the peephole, sneak back. I said, you can't go anywhere. Got to be quiet. They're outside the door. Seriously. And it's only then I realised what 10mm of plasterboard between us and the corridor meant. You know, yeah, you got to be. Anyway, she mastered the art of throwing up quietly as we were laid under that mattress. So here we go. Yeah. So we emerged to see chaos. I managed to get out of Turkey. My business partner, I phoned her. She managed to get us the last 2 seats out of Turkey. The only problem was with EasyJet. I'd never flown EasyJet, and there wasn't a desk. So that was an adventure trying to get to that point. We'd run roadblocks, 60, 80 mile an hour, paid a taxi driver handsomely to do it. And when we got to the airport, we couldn't find how we got on the plane. But anyway, we managed to do that. And what happened? Well, we fled the UK. She got about 500 calls, and we finally agreed we'd go on the this morning show, whatever it is, with Eamon and Ruth. And we told everyone about it and warned them. And they actually paid us to go on that show. So we thought, again, on the basis of turning a negative into a positive, what can we do? We donated that to UNICEF. And that was a good thing. As I say, it turned a negative situation into a positive. And it was the best thing we could have done. You know, we moved on. And the other thing is, obviously, I have a lot of tales to tell, but I'll just recount a quick one to you about the Royal Military Police. I was patrolling Catterick, and we got to Richmond, and we saw a bike with military plates. I thought, oh, it shouldn't be here. So we did a police check, standard police check on the plates, and the rider of the bike was reported absent without leave from Germany. So, of course, picked on me to go and arrest him. So I arrested him, did what was necessary, put him in a cell. Only then did I find out he'd absconded because he'd been posted on the day of his wedding. And he'd come back to see his young bride. I felt awful, really did. But our OCs worked something out, and it was agreed, yeah, he can serve his time in the barracks, close confinement, whatever it is, in Germany, give him a few days off. So that's what happened. And we moved on from that. But yeah, there's just so many things you know, I can pass on. I've had new friendships in the business. There are some business high points. The accreditation is an achievement. It's a recognition of the efforts of our staff in the company, and you know, there's a lot of good things come out of hard work. The other thing is we've been able to sponsor and help others. We've sponsored for several years Durham Sixth Form Centre Golf Academy. You know, they've had little golf bags with our logo on and stuff like this. The Memorial Airmen at Thornaby Aerodrome, I sponsored that when I was running a small business in '94. So that was a nice bit of giving back. And even when I was in a film called Atonement, which Half of Red Cow was in, I think, I was on the beaches of Dunkirk, and I donated my wages from that to the Royal British Legion. I got a really nice letter back from them. So, yeah, you know, that's some personal high points. Obviously, apart from seeing the family and the kids growing up, which is lovely in itself, I've looked after, you know, well, I'll tell you what was quite interesting. An organisation called Shadika were looking for sponsors to help build girls' schools in India, because girls don't get much of an opportunity in India. So I've contributed to that. And equally, I was active when I was chairman of the Institution of Plant Engineers at North East Branch, with the Women into Science and Engineering campaign, to give women those opportunities, and girls those opportunities that they don't get, or they didn't get on a greater scale then in those days. And I worked with Marjorie Morlam for that, and what a lady that was. So yeah, loads of fond memories. Yeah, so between the lines then, standards. We have standards. If you think about it, standards are just a list of requirements. What you do to meet those standards is living between the lines. Every company and the people they have will act in their own ways. Acting, yeah, we've got scripts, we've got lines, but that's not what I'm talking about. The collaboration, the community aspect is that we've got filming, we've got sound, we've got makeup, we've got wardrobe, set building, lighting. Everybody works together to deliver, you know, on that project. That's reading between the lines, understanding the fit. Learn what your part is all I would say. Develop what you have as key skills, and then bring them to bear with others, and you'll get a blockbuster rather than a B movie. You really will. I will just say your small part in life, you know, at any one point in time can be a big part in somebody else's life. And, you know, what you do in life is basically your monument to yourself. You're creating a monument as you go through life. So you want to build the best monument you can. And you want to build that monument on a solid foundation. You want to be proud of it. And you want others to be able to look at it and look at you over time and say, yes, I remember him or her for all the right reasons. And that is my message, really. Whether you are equal to or greater than the sum of your parts, well, the potential for that is in your own hands and what you do. And so is your work-life balance. And, you know, I'm just passing these little nuggets onto you as a baton to pass on to others. Strive to be the best professionally. Strive to reach your personal best. Do what you do properly if you do a job. I mean, the house will fall down before my shelves will. I'll tell you, every job I do, it's planned and it's executed with precision. But most of all, enjoy what you do. Put back in to help others. Even if you're just given your most precious currency. What's the most precious thing you've got? I'll tell you. Derek will tell you. It's your time. Dr. Derek. So, he will tell you it's your time. Those few minutes that you give to somebody in need of those few minutes can make a world of difference to them. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but work to live and don't live to work. Remember, you've got to think about what you want to be in life, focus on it, and go for it. Use all your energy to deliver it to yourself. Remember also, it's about people. It's about bringing out their best. Bringing out their best helps you achieve your individual best. Be patient, be caring, and think about others and their needs as well as your own. And make people feel special. It's not all about performance. It's not all about the bottom line. It's about balance. It's about creativity and variety in your life. Most of all, it's about inclusion. And to me, personally, that also means networking. And even if you're outside your comfort zone like me now, it means networking. You've got no excuse. You've got social media. You've got all these fantastic ways of keeping in touch with people. And the friends you make now are the friends that might pick you up when you need a little bit of help up later on. Vice versa. Do it. There's no reason not to. Anyway, like I say, I'm running over time or towards the time. I hope I've achieved at least some of my objectives. I hope I've given you something useful, or at least I've given you something to think about. And you might ask yourself, can you read between the lines now? I hope so. I would like to thank Dr. Derek Watson for the invite to deliver this short talk. I would like to thank the University of Sunderland for its faith that I may hold some knowledge that may be useful to others. And most of all, I'd like to thank again the university back office staff for their invaluable support, their marketing, their hosting, and all their efforts, without which this would not have been possible. So I thank you again for your kind attention. I pray you find a clear and balanced path, and I wish you all a healthy, happy, and prosperous future. And all the best for Ramadan. I'll now hand over to you, Derek, for questions.
Alan, thank you very much for mostly a very insightful presentation. I've been scribbling down your comments. The presentation, I like the way that you started it. Socrates, to be true, good, and useful. I like that. I'll remember that. I also loved your anecdotal comment about don't reach for the skies when there's footprints on the moon. I thought that was, I'll remember that one as well. And I can confess to the students, on my first degree, my first ever computer was an Amstrad computer. So I know where you're coming from, a tiny little box. I've aspired to a MacBook, but there you go. What we've got is, I'm just going to stop the recording. We've got time for a couple of questions.